This poem's called The White Calvary. It's based on a true set of circumstances that transpired in the First World War. We have a German officer who was asked to give his account on the events that unfolded before him on the battlefield. It was the spring of 1918 when we broke through the Allied line. They'd suffered heavy casualties and reserves were tenuously fine. With concentrated high explosives, we knew they would crack. Using machine gun fire, we prepared a bayonet attack. The Allied force was depleted, their youth down in his prime. So we advanced in mass formation, singing with victory on our minds. "Here, Capitan," my lieutenant said, "the cavalry's coming up through the smoke." "They must be mad, these English. Are they really simple folk?" "They must be the cavalry of one of their colonial forces, for they are all in white uniform and mounted on white horses." "I never heard of the English having a white cavalry. Whether colonial or not, it seems very strange to me." "Well, they are plain enough to me," he replied. "Our guns have got their range. They'll be blown to pieces in no time. They'll be killed and they'll be maimed." We saw the shells burst amongst them as they came forward at a quiet walk trot. In parade ground formation, each man and horse stood his spot. Our machine guns then opened a heavy fire, raking them with a hail of lead. But onwards they came, faltering not. No man or horse fell dead. Steadily they advanced, clear and bright sunlight, clothed in fine linen, white and clean. And a few paces in front rode their leader, a fine figure who was awe-inspiring. He wore a crown on his head. His hair was as spun gold, shining in the light like a golden aureole. His eyes were as flames of fire, and by his side was a great two-edged sword. His hands held the reins of his huge white charger as it bore him imposingly forward. Despite the heavy shelling and machine gun fire, the White Cavalry confidently advanced. Like the incoming tide, we couldn't stop them. We didn't stand a chance. Yes, I, an officer of the Prussian Guard, had a great fear fall on me. Panic-stricken, I turned to flee, to try and hide from this White Cavalry. There were hundreds of terrified men around me, all whimpering like children, throwing away their arms and equipment, running from this cauldron. Their one desire was to get away from the advancing White Cavalry, above all from their terrifying leader, who struck fear in the bones of me. There may be fighting elsewhere, if that's any consolation or token, but we have lost the war right here. The German army is broken. I cannot understand it. I just cannot see how we've been beaten by this White Cavalry.